Your wife used to be a prostitute, for one.
Yo, so we are back with another video. I know this week I promised to do the One Rooms pull-up video, but I'm recovering from the world's worst flu. So that's having to take a back seat. But today we're going to be speaking about Lee Priest, obviously, and him versus the IFBB. If you don't know who Lee Priest is, then get to know, because he's probably my favourite all-time bodybuilder and probably always will be, to be honest. So I'm just going to show you a quick video from the 2003 Mr. Olympia press conference now.
The question is for Lee Priest, and it goes back to the money issue. I've read in Muscular Development and on the internet that you have been planning on sharing your prize money with the athletes that place out of the prize money, and I was wondering if you were still planning on doing that, and if you have any animosity towards the IFBB for it coming down to one athlete having to provide for the others.
I don't have any animosity towards the IFBB at all, but you know, this is the Mr. Olympia, the biggest show supposedly in bodybuilding, and the Arnold Classic can give out every prize money to all the competitors, and the GNC this year is giving out prize money to every competitor. So when you have a show like the Olympia where people have to qualify to be here, and you have the guy who came 15th, 16th training just as hard as me, and I get money and he doesn't, I just don't see it's fair. So if I'm placing in the money, yes, I will give them some of my prize money. So.
On that subject, those of you who were here last year know that Milos and I got into a little discussion. It's all in fun. But what I said to him is, put it in writing. Now, all he had to do was put it in writing, but he didn't. In fact, not one person of the athletes, of any fan, no one put it in writing to us. We'd like a proposal to the pro division that prize money be given all the way down. That's what I asked Milos to do.
I did sit up.
Lee, you said too, Lee, right? You said that if I don't give the money, you're going to stand up and walk out of here.
Yeah, I will. but I did sit up last night and I did put it in writing, so.
Now, because he put it in writing, and I know everything these guys are going to do.
So yeah, as you can see, Lee Priest was one for treating everyone right and sticking up for the small guy, basically. Everybody else, sort of, if they were winning and they were on top, they didn't really care because they were making the money. But Lee Priest wanted everyone to make money, regardless of where they were placing, because, like he said on there, the guy who gets 16th, he's also putting his life on the line, pushing the boundaries of what the body can achieve, and not getting any money for it. Do you know what I mean? If you're a professional in any other sort of, if you're a professional doctor or whatever, then you're going to be getting paid and make a living from that. So why not make a living from being a professional bodybuilder? So in 2005, Lee Priest basically got caught competing in another league. So the IFBB, if you were competing as a pro in the IFBB, you weren't allowed to compete in any other league. But they gave him a 1-year ban. He then phoned up the executives and basically complained and said it's ridiculous. Without us, then you wouldn't have nobody over there. And what happened was they then gave him a 2-year ban from that because he argued his point. So yeah, the absolute legend managed to get his pro card back in 2008 from people just speaking to the executives. And he didn't end up competing in 2008, 2009, and then 2010 was when he had to renew his pro card, to basically pay for a new subscription from the IFBB. It's just something you have to do. In 2010, he didn't end up renewing it because he wanted to compete in them years, but he had torn his arm, and there's possible that his granddad also passed away in that time, who he was very close with. So he didn't manage to compete in them years. And the IFBB saw that as him sort of throwing it back in their face.
God damn it.
And basically just disrespect them because they've managed to give him the pro card back and he's then not competed. So yeah, in 2010 as well, when this was all happening, he was also doing a podcast called Shotgun something, I can't remember the name of it, where he's basically speaking bodybuilding, politics, and just all facts. He wasn't speaking any bullshit.
Yeah, boy.
But the IFBB again didn't like that because there was a lot of stuff going into them basically and just like telling them what people didn't really know about the IFBB. So 2010, he ended up getting the full lifetime suspension, so no more IFBB pro card whatsoever for his entire lifetime.
Went to PDI, got a year suspension, argued the point, got 2 years suspension. And then I see Ciccarello try and tell people too, I threw it back in the face. But set it straight for the record, in 08 I got my pro card back. I was going to compete, but I tore my arm, so then I was going to compete in 09, 10, but just didn't really get into it, couldn't get my mind into it, so I did. And so in 010 I figured I'm not going to compete anymore, so I just didn't renew my pro card. And then I got a life suspension. So Bob Ciccarello's saying, oh, we went to bat for Lee, he got his pro card back and then he wouldn't compete, or he just threw it in Jim Mannion's face and blah blah blah. It's not that at all. I got my pro card back in 08 through Jim. Like I said, I was going to compete, but I just didn't compete. And in 010 I just didn't renew my pro card, so it wasn't anything like what Bob Ciccarello states on MD and all the other bullshit. So it wasn't even really attacking the IFBB, because so many times we said, you know, the IFBB's a place to go if you want to compete and do stuff and get contracts because they're mostly seen, but just the way it's run, and you know, the politics involved, the wait your turn bullshit, pay your dues bullshit, none of that shit should be going on. And earlier on, it's like, you know, some of the top athletes weren't getting good money, which I still don't think they are getting good money, so for what goes into it. So, you know, I just don't think it's fair. I understand promoters have to make money, which they do, but so do athletes, and they're the ones that are putting their life on the line. So, and I said it, and all the times I do these interviews in the magazines and shit, you know, I'll probably say 90% of the pros would come up and say, Lee, we agree with what you're saying. So I'm like, well, why don't you stand with me? Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, why not? I said, I can't suspend all of us. You know, can you imagine at the Mr. Olympia we had the athletes meeting and all of us stood up and said, listen, until we get this, this and this, we're not walking on stage tomorrow. They're not going to cancel the fucking show. That's so funny, because you get these guys that walk around big and buffed, all these muscles look big macho men, but they fucking act like girls. You've got fucking cowards to speak up and say what they truly feel. They just bow down and take it, okay. And what pisses off the most too is, like, when I used to speak out against it, people say, Lee, shut your mouth. I could have, you know, I was making good money. I was placing well in contests, I could have shut my mouth, but if the guys on top don't stand up for the guys on the bottom, nothing's going to change, because the majority of the guys on top now, like Jay and Phil, they're making great money, so they're like, well, fuck, it doesn't affect me, why should I worry about it? But, you know, the other guys who place beneath them or place out of the top 10, they're still busting their ass, they're still going through whatever to get ready for these shows and the Olympia and stuff. And like I said, they're pros. You're meant to be able to make a living. If you're going to call yourself professionals, you've got to make a living out of what you do. Not fucking work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, sell drugs on the side, do gay pay shit to fucking keep your pro card, you know. So yeah, just fucking piss it off when the guys on top don't stick up for the other fellow athletes on the bottom. So.
And the way that he actually found that out was he had a friend in Switzerland who was running a show, and 2 weeks before going out, so obviously he's doing a guest posing out there, and he was obviously prepping a little bit for that, not going as you would for an Olympia, but still it's a guest posing, so still putting some sort of prep into it. Yeah, 2 weeks before, he had a phone call from the guy who was running it. You can't come anymore and do the guest posing, because if you do, the IFBB have told me that I'm going to lose my entire affiliation with them, and they're going to ban my athletes from the IFBB. So, yeah, and he also said, oh yeah, and by the way, you've got a lifetime ban, they told me. No! So that's literally how he found out. He didn't find out in a professional manner whatsoever. So yeah, that's the story behind him getting a ban from the IFBB. In my opinion, he's still going to be my favourite bodybuilder. For many different reasons. One being that he wanted to stick up for everybody, and he also was telling the IFBB that even though he was placing, he wasn't even placing like top 3 or something, he was placing like 6th, that he's going to split his prize money with all of the athletes, so someone is going to get something of his prize money. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, hopefully I'll get the pull-up one out if this illness goes away. But until next time, let's make some gains. Boom.
Your wife used to be a prostitute, for one, and you're an idiot. And I'm a banned athlete. It's a well-known fact. It's a well-known fact. You have nothing. Without the athletes and the sponsors, you have nothing. And you know that. Yeah, takes one to know one, doesn't it? And what have you ever done apart from threaten athletes? You don't. You're beneath my level. You're a scumbag. You're a scumbag. You are beneath my level, you piece of shit on my shoe.